and here, and there we go. Okay, so we are now on the landing page of the database. It looks a little bit different than what you would see. This landing page has a username. You know what? I'm going to turn it into English. If you see there are two little flags here up on top. Can you see my mouse as we're moving?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm just going to turn it into English, which I assume is what you're going to be using. So this is a landing page, for non-subscribers or things. You just use a username and a password. Otherwise, you would just get a notice that this is courtesy of Princeton University, and then you move on to the to the actual use. Okay, so let me just go over again what databases are actually in here. The databases that are here are four. You don't see them separately, but they're four separate databases. One is a list or records of all the Rishonim and Gaonim that make reference to the Yerushalmi.
Okay.
That's by far the largest and most important database. Then there's a database which has references to academic and research work on the Yerushalmi.
Okay.
And the third one is rabbinic work, which is much less developed. I mean, maybe there are just a few thousand records there, but I'm slowly but surely working on it. And I'm sorry, the first database is basically, if you're familiar with the Ginza Yerushalmi that recently came out, which is just a collection of all the, parts of and fragments of Yerushalmi that were found over the generations, then basically this is an index of that.
Okay.
Up until now, it was really, an index of all the different places that bits and pieces were published. But once that Ginza Yerushalmi came out, I decided I would just index that because that's much more, accessible to people than starting to go through ancient journals.
Right.
Okay, so that's what's included. Now, navigation, on the top, there's this red bar, let's call it the bar, which is going to accompany us throughout. This is like the main navigation bar. You won't see the little Hebrew tab, which is really the back office where it says
okay
here. And the default is that you fall into the search place, which is by far probably what is used the most. And of course, let's just experiment in a search or two just to get an impression of what's happening. An important, actually, prerequisite for this whole database is the Yerushalmi that was published, I think, in 2005, again by the what's it called, the Academia Laumit L'Madaim. If you're familiar with this big fat Yerushalmi, so everything basically is indexed by this.
okay.
By me, it's already falling to pieces. So I pick up a random page.
Okay.
They're like, each page has two columns, and each column is numbered, and the lines are also numbered from 1 to 50. So whenever you're searching for a particular Yerushalmi, that is the text that those are the parameters you would be using.
Okay.
And conveniently, you have this available over here. You see where it says View Yerushalmi. I'm just going to open it up. Hopefully, we'll go quickly. You can actually browse through this book and be able to find your parameters. I see that today it's going a little bit slowly. These are, I know, because when I close my door, things go slower. But anyway, so here you are. You have to agree to the above conditions, which basically say that you won't be plagiarizing them. And I'll take a small masechet to make sure it loads up quicker. So we're going to just have a look at Masechet Makot in the Yerushalmi there. Yeah, I think when I open up my door, things work faster. So I'm just going to
okay. I guess it must be wireless, I'm guessing. Then.
Yeah. And I guess they don't like doors. Yeah. I don't know why things are so slow today. This is I don't know, maybe we should continue until it goes up. Anyway, so at a certain point, this is going to open. Something's happened. No, we're still doing this. Here we go. Okay. So this is what it looks like. This is the Masechet Makot. And, supposing we wanted to see what we have in the database about a particular sugya, let's say the first sugya in Makot, then you would plug in, column 1333 from line 1 to, let's say, line 10.
Okay.
Okay, so this is a little bit passive. It's not that you can, let's say you paint the section that you're looking, and the software knows how to translate that into the parameters. You got to do it manually meanwhile. But okay, so we decided it's 1333, 1 through 10. And we go back to the search. And in here, I'm going to plug in 1333, which is the column number from row 1 to run to 10. He automatically fills in the second column, but if for some reason, you're searching across columns, then you just, correct this to 1334. So that just to save a little bit of time. And we press the search. Okay, not too impressive. All we got here were 2 results. I will explain them, and then we'll just do something in brachas to make sure we get much more results.
Okay.
But the structure of the table that you see here is this is the same table you will get for any search that you do. The interface is in English, but the actual information over here is Hebrew throughout. So you're getting here on the right hand side is ma'agar, which means what database am I drawing from? And the first result is Kitei Gniza, which means that we're lucky enough on this particular sugya to actually have, besides the Leiden manuscript, we have another manuscript on lines 1 through 31. And this appears in Zusman Ginzei Yerushalmi, and you go look there.
Okay.
Now notice, even though I've looked for rows 1 through 10, I get back, any subset or overset of that number. So 1 through 31, includes that. That's like a bigger set, and 7 through 8 is a subset. But any overlap between what you're asking for and what I have, I will give you.
Okay.
Okay, so in this particular, we're going from 2 extremes, from the Kitei Gniza, and Mechkari is academic work. So in a work by Lieberman, Talmud Yerushalmi, you have a reference to line 7 and 8 on this page, and so on and so forth. This is not very impressive. Well, we got back with 2 results, but soon we'll see many more results, just so you get more of an impression of what's happening. But before we actually move on to that, let me just show you 2 little tricks that you can do on this table. Let me just start from the end. These last 2 columns, you won't be seeing.
Okay.
So, this is so I can edit or erase, and this is like some kind of, number of the record. I don't even know what it's used for, but you won't see these here. And if you put your cursor over the source here, in this case, you get 2 things. You'll see that it turns into a little hand. And in addition, a little window opens up. The little window gives you a more precise biographical reference, just tells you where exactly it is. And the fact that it turned into a hand means that this particular work is actually available online on our site. If I click this, which I won't, this paper will actually open up. This is available in the library.
Okay.
So that makes life easier. For example, when you go up to here, you get the window, but it doesn't turn into a hand because Ginzei Yerushalmi is not available. So that's one little trick. Sometimes once you found what you're looking for, you might want to, either zoom in or zoom out. So by clicking any one of these results, he will automatically search based on those parameters.
Okay.
So, I mean, if I would press on 7 and 8, I would just get the one thing here, because this is a subset. But if I press on 1 through 31, I might get a bigger, list of results, which I just did. So let's see what happens. Yeah, so look what happens. Okay, so if I'm looking for the first 31 lines, then there are many more, results.
Right. So there were more about 10 plus than there were about 1 through 10.
Right. So anyway, so this is active. Anything which is blue is active, so you can search according to that. Also, if you click the top line, then he will organize it in alphabetical order based on whatever you have here. So for some reason, you want to organize it according to author, then you would click this guy. I just clicked Hamechaber, and now you get it in alphabetical order. What in the world use is there for this? Well, in advance, I didn't know. He just whoever software did it that way. But Lemaise, if I have a number, if I get 50 results, and I'm just looking for the Ramban, or I'm just looking for Epstein or whatever. So if you organize it in alphabetical order, it makes it easier for you to then search and find the particular name you're looking for. Okay, let's perform another search, just in a more well-trodden area, so we get some nice results. So I'm going to do something, let's say, in brachot. Brachot is a place people like talking about. So let's do a sugya. I'm going to start from the I'll start from the second column, 23rd line to the 40th line. This is kind of a shot in the blind. But
yeah, I call that jumping out of a plane without a parachute when I do it in a class.
So we just did that. Okay, but we were lucky. Okay, we're lucky. Good. So look what we have here. So we have 35 results. I mean, the truth is that when you get like 35 results, that's also bad news, because you got to start plotting through everything and deciding what's good and what isn't. But okay. So here again, as you see, it's the same table. This is the ma'agal. This time, the word here is rishonim. So you know that you're getting results from the rishonim, from the the medieval sages. This
you cut out for a second.
I'm sorry.
The audio just cut out for a moment. I don't know.
Yes.
The last.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm saying, so this is the rishonim. This is the medieval sages. And the result you got, I mean, we were looking from, I already forgot, we were looking from 23 to 40. This first result is from 22 to 34.
Okay.
It's, you get a very precise idea of what the Rashba is going to be talking about. And we're talking about the Rashba. This is the reference, Shabbos Daf Lamed Daled Amud Bet. And this is the actual quote.
Okay.
Now, beforehand, when we got results from academic work, I don't have the results here. If you notice, those were empty columns, but here you actually get them, and you can enlarge them, and then it just goes on. Sefer Eshkol, Rav Tur, you get a nice, impressive list here. Now you'll notice that here it's not alphabetical, so there's a Rashba down here, and then there was a Rashba at the beginning. So if you're looking for a particular Rashba, it makes sense to order them in alphabetical order. Just helps you find things. This result here is is a classic result, expression of what you would be using this database for. I think you're mostly interested to see what the Rishonim have to say, what different versions they might have the Yerushalmi. This is like really the core of the database. Sometimes over here there's a column called He'ara, a note. Sometimes I will have added notes here of interest, and then they'll pop up in this column over here, like over here. Okay, for some reason on this Meiri, I said, well, you should give a look at the editor of the Meiri. I guess he has something interesting to say.
Okay.
Okay. So that is the database. That is the search. And this is what the format of the results would look like. I'm just going to go to the end. You see, towards the end, it changes from Rishonim to academic, to Mechkari. And that's the default. You would, if there are any Kitei Gnisa, you get that first, and then Rishonim, and then Mechkari, and then Rabbanim. I don't see any Rabbani here. As you notice, once you move to Mechkari, there's nothing in this column over here. You just have to open up the book. This is Ginsburg, Perushim V'Chidushim, and here again, it doesn't turn into a hand. It's you just get a more precise reference of the actual work. So that is the search based on column and row.
Okay.
Okay, you can also search. I have Mishnah here, but you won't see that. This is not a search which is available for the public for the simple reason that, first of all, the division into Mishnah isn't the same throughout the different prints of the Yerushalmi, and it just gives you back too much material. So it's really rendered, useless. So I just leave the column row. What you can search for is according to word, which I found to be a pretty powerful search. This search is limited only to the Rishonim because that's the only text that I have. So if you're looking for particular words, you can find them here. I'll give you an example where this might be useful. Supposing you're learning Yerushalmi, you come across a rare word, and you're interested in finding all occurrences of that rare word in the Yerushalmi. So you can easily search the Leiden manuscript, you can use Project Ashut, you can use Ma'agarim, whatever, find whatever there is. But then you might wonder, maybe one of the Rishonim actually quotes a Yerushalmi, where in our text that word doesn't appear, but in his text it does appear. So then you might want to plug that word into here and search for it. I'm going to use an example which is really cheating. So if you notice, I put in the word tamish, tet mem yud shin, which is not really a Yerushalmi word. It means to dip your challah in the salt.
Okay.
It's not in a liquid, it's to dip it in a solid. This word does not appear in our Yerushalmi, but if you search for it over here, you'll get a few results. Look at that. You got how many? 7 results, where supposedly, let's say the Arzarua is quoting Yerushalmi where this word tamish appears. It's even highlighted in yellow. And here's again and again and again. Wow, that's very impressive. So there's this word tamish, which does not appear in our text, but Rishonim actually are quoting Yerushalmi, which has it. And indeed, if you look in this column, you see something interesting. Instead of being told where in the Yerushalmi it is, you get this disappointing Eino lefanenu. It is not in front of us, because I don't know where it is. And then you notice also that over here, there's a whole long comment for each one. You see all these comments here? In effect, over here, it's saying, this is not even Yerushalmi. This is the well-known Sefer Yerushalmi. The Ashkenazi Rishonim had a Yerushalmi into which was inserted all kinds of other stuff, and that's what they're quoting here. So, as I said before, this is kind of cheating, but it's a nice example. Another use, for example, if you're looking for a name of a sage, Rav Idi, Rav Dimi, and those always get mixed up in different renditions of the Yerushalmi. So you can just plug in his name here, and you would find perhaps other or further occurrences in the Rishonim where their Yerushalmi actually reads whatever name you're looking for. For example, just this morning I was going through something, and the Leiden manuscripts talks about Rav Dimi, but 2 of the Rishonim, the Rambam amongst them, say that it's Rav Adi. So if that's important, then that's important. So there's the column row search, there's the word search, and there's the subject search, which is kind of an index of subjects, but it's very subjective in the sense, that these are just things that I thought were interesting, so I indexed them.
Okay.
but something which might be, let's see, of more general interest. Here, look. Ein la Rishonim Yerushalmi. There are a number of places where the Rishonim complain that they don't have the Yerushalmi. I heard the Yerushalmi says so and so, but I don't know where it is. Too bad. And that's just interesting, in general. So, right. So here you have a list, just nine results. So look at the Marami Rutan, for example. The Yerushalmi ein biyadi. I don't have the Yerushalmi, which would be pretty bizarre if one of the Rishonim would say, "Gee, I don't have a Masechet Nida, or Bavli, or I don't have brachas."
Right.
But in Yerushalmi, that's par for the course. Okay, so these are the various searches that one can perform. And this, as you see, it's always the same table, the same type of result. What can I do with these results? So over here on the right-hand side, you have an option to print or save. When I print this, when I press that button, so now I get it in print format. And over here you have little ticks. You can choose which result is relevant to you and you want to save or print, and which you don't want to. So for example, if this is not relevant, I just untick it, and then when I save or print it, this part will be omitted. Okay, that's this. So you check what you want, and then you either do print or you do save. To be honest, the save function here isn't very aesthetic. And I keep promising myself to get my software guy to fix it up. It's a very bulky table in Word, which is hard to play around with, but that's a way to save it and then deal with it. Okay, that is the major part, which was the searches, which was this thing. Talmud over here, just gives you a direct way of, again, opening up that Talmud that we were looking at before. Report error just opens up, an email to me. If you think there's something missing, there's something wrong, there's a mistake. And thankfully, people actually use this, and I take advantage of crowdsourcing. Right. So people comment about errors or whatever, and I find it very useful. Nihul, this is the back office, so that you won't see. And help. Okay, this is good. So how to use this opens up a PDF, a little bit outdated, kind of explaining how to use the database. Browse Yerushalmi, again, is that same Talmud Yerushalmi. Explanatory video, okay, something like what we're doing now. No, I'm sorry. The explanatory video doesn't explain how to use the database, but it kind of goes behind, what's it called? Behind the
behind the scenes.
Yeah, and I give an explanation of how I created the database and its strengths and its weaknesses, which of course do exist as well. Index literature might be important because this gives you a sense of what exactly is in here. So, for example, if I go to Rishonim, I get to choose, let's say, according to author. It's a little bit slow today. And here you get a drop down of all the authors, the Rishonim authors that there are. So let's choose somebody, which hopefully there are many of his. I'll look for the Ramban. So that would be Moshe ben Nachman. So these are just all the names of the Rishonim that are indexed. Here's the Ramban, Moshe ben Nachman, and you get just a list of all his works that are indexed. Now, what I find very important would be, let's say, this thing over here, Igeret HaKodesh, and the comment here is Lo Nimtzeu Hatamot, which means you should know that I actually searched, I went through this treatise, but it just happens to be that the Ramban does not quote a single Yerushalmi there.
Okay.
So I think that's important because you look at the list, and if this wasn't here, you would say, "Gee, this index doesn't have Igrot HaKodesh. I'll go search by myself to see if there's anything there." So here I'm saving you some time, and I'm telling you, I've been there, done that, nothing doing.
Okay.
That's these authors. You have the same with the research. You get a list of all the different academic researchers that we have. I don't know. I don't think Muli Vidas is here, though he did write about Yerushalmi, but I don't think I put him here. So let's look for, I don't know, let's see, Alyssa Gray. Do you know that name?
No.
Okay, whatever. So let's just take any other
David
name.
Dowd.
You know Dowd?
I don't know him, but
well, too late for that, but okay.
Yeah. Feel like I've read his thing.
Yeah, I like his writing a lot. I've read more than what you have here. So this is rabbinic methods of interpretation, whatever. This is what's been indexed. Geniza fragments now really just has one thing, or actually two. Oh, I'm sorry, this is outdated. Forget it. No, I mean today Geniza. See, there's nothing doing here. Today Geniza fragments is really only that book by Zussman, and then a later piece of Megillah, which was published by Mauro Pirani. And yeah, actually, I need to fix this up. And then Achronim would be a list of rabbinic works. This is stuck. Here we go. I don't know. It's stuck. Let's try to redo it. This is a relatively undeveloped part. Okay, I don't know. It gets stuck here. For some reason, like if you use these searches here too much, they stop working. Anyway, so this is the Achronim part, and here there's a short list, and you find them there as well. It's not working now. I see it's stuck. Okay, let's go back to the help. So this was how to use Browser Yerushalmi, indexed literature, explanatory video. Article about database is quite similar to the video. Database in the news is where I pat myself on the shoulder and reference you to all the different people who quote and used and reference to this work. And same goes for institutions member list. You just get a list of all the different institutions that are members. This is sometimes useful. People ask me, how can I access the database without actually buying my private subscription? So you go to here and tell them, look at the list. And if you're affiliated with anybody in this list, you can easily access it through their databases. And finally, is the library. You remember before I was showing you that sometimes the cursor turns into a hand.
Right.
And those are different, works which I've been able/allowed to put online. So here you have a list, alphabetical order according to the author of different articles and papers which are online. You just click and that will open it up for you. So usually you wouldn't access this directly. You would get to this through one of your searches. But I see that a lot of people, just use this as a way for saving time. They know there's a nice long list here of papers, and they just come in here and take whatever they want to. So that's what we have here. And at the bottom of the help thing here, there's some technical information. Here you get an idea of how many records there are in each database, and here you can check me if I'm actually still working on it, because if they're growing or not. And then these are the different thanks and what have you. So I think that in a nutshell is really everything.
That was useful, just to remind me. I feel like it was 100 years ago that we met.
Well, it was, as they say, BC.
In the before times.
It was BC, before COVID. So
yeah.
So anyway, so that's that. And good. So it's good seeing you again.
You too.
And okay, I mean, if there are any questions or whatever, I'm always available, either by mail or whatever, and happy to answer. And I mean, if there is a group of students, who suddenly wake up and they say, "Hey, who are interested in understanding how to use
Right.
this," then yeah, I'd probably be happy to do that
Okay,
as
great. I'll reach out. I mean, the truth is the students who are going to use this are probably at a level where they can figure it out pretty simply, and the ones who aren't going to use it would never be able to use it because they don't have the
well.
language and
Yeah,
background
fair
skills to
enough.
use it. So it's sort of like, if you have to ask, then you shouldn't use it pretty much.
Yeah.
So like,
Or,
what do they
or
say? If you have to ask the price, then you can't afford it. So so
okay, Yofi.
all right, well, thank you very much.
Okay, sei gesund, and I will send you a link as soon as I put it on the YouTube, so you have it for whoever might use it.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, how do we get out of here?